Thank you, Urs. Dear family, friends, alumni, INSEAD board members, faculty, and staff, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the EMBA graduation ceremony for the class of 2017 and the Tiamba class of 2018. Especially, I want to welcome the graduates that are coming here for their graduation. I think that you're about to enter a great period, a very exciting period, a period of change with great movement geographically, professionally, intellectually, and undoubtedly a period of great success. So today, our key focus is on you. Today is the beginning, not the end of your relationship with INSEAD, because you are the INSEAD of the future. When you joined INSEAD 14 to 18 months ago, you did not join a predetermined, templated, navigated program. You did not sign up for a course that had been run for hundreds of times in a very rehearsed manner. In fact, you joined a program that continuously innovates and makes sure that the influence that the school has on you will be long-lasting and transformational. Furthermore, INSEAD, I hope, will allow and even demand from you that you embrace your new role in the world, whether as a disruptor, a transformational change agent, or an outstanding leader. Most importantly, I hope that INSEAD has prepared you to be a force for good in the world. I want to say a couple of words about INSEAD, given that we have a lot of guests here today who may not know our school. INSEAD was started in 1959 in France, in the Chateau of Fontainebleau. It started with 52 students initially, without a campus, without permanent faculty, without a clear idea how you'll continue for the next 2-3 years. INSEAD was started by Georges Doriot, who was a professor at Harvard Business School at the time, with the idea not only to bring management education to Europe, but he viewed INSEAD as a place that will promote peace and prosperity by bringing people from all over Europe at the time. INSEAD from day one was set up as an international school. To study at INSEAD in 1959, you had to speak German, French, and English. Any of the classes could go in one of these 3 languages, as well as the exams. Because it was part of the European integration at the time, INSEAD was viewed as a way to promote business as a force for good. Today, we're a very different school. We're one of the biggest MBA programs. We have a growing EMBA program. We're one of the largest providers of management education in the world. We are pioneer in setting up a multi-campus structure. There is no other school that can get even close to the diversity that you observe at INSEAD. Through its entrepreneurial nature, the school has made a long-lasting and important impact in management education over the world. What is most important about INSEAD to remember is that INSEAD is a mission-driven school. We're not part of a university. We don't have private shareholders for whom we have to maximize their profits. And we're not part of a governmental educational structure. So every single day, we have to think, why does INSEAD exist? Why are we here? And we exist because we believe that business is a force for good. We believe that by training the future business leaders, by helping you develop as the future business leaders, entrepreneurs and managers, you'll be able to transform the world for the better. When you think about business as a force for good, there are obviously 2 different interpretations. There is a very narrow one. We want you to be trained in the best way possible so that you can run your companies in an efficient and productive manner. Business as a force for good is best illustrated when you think about countries like China, India, Singapore, South Korea, even Italy and Germany. These countries 50 years ago, 100 years ago, were very poor. In fact, in China in 1980, there were 840 million people who lived below the extreme poverty line of $1.90 a day. 85% of the Chinese population was in extreme poverty. Today, there are fewer than 50 million people. Something unprecedented has happened in the world, whereby throughout the world more than 1.5 billion people have been lifted out of poverty. It's a miracle. It's a miracle that has never happened before, and it has happened only because of one thing, and that is economic growth. And in the long run, the only engine of economic growth is business creation and business innovation. Without growth, there is no poverty reduction. So our mission as a business school for the world is to train people like you to accelerate this growth. But this is a very narrow interpretation of business as a force for good, because we see that in the last 20 years or so, tension between business and society has been increasing. We have seen how the general public looks with distrust towards business elites as well as political elites. We have seen that some businesses, in the process of maximizing their profits and value, have actually destroyed value for the society. So today, when we think about business as a force for good, we want to think in a different way. We want to enlarge the understanding and the definition of this phrase by saying that whenever you maximize your profits, whenever you think how to create more value for your company, you also think how you create value for the society. To act on this, we are creating this year a new Global Institute for Business and Society, where we will examine how businesses can be part of the challenge and part of the solution of resolving issues around sustainability, income distribution, ethics, issues around social impact, or gender equality. And we are very optimistic. We do think that by bringing awareness, by studying these issues, when you create value for your company, you can also create more value for the society. Because I think that we live in an imagined reality. We believe that certain things are normal, that they're part of our norms, just because they have been there for ages. But these things can change. In 1776 BC, so about 4,000 years ago, in Babylon, King Hammurabi created one of the first written legal codes. The king was put on the throne by the gods Anu, Enlil, and Marduk in order to make justice prevail in the land, to abolish wicked and the evil, and to prevent the strong from oppressing the weak. King Hammurabi was perceived as one of the most just and fair kings at that time. In fact, in the United States Congress, there is a bas-relief of King Hammurabi as one of the first codifiers. If you read his code, which is available on Wikipedia, you'll see some very interesting quotes. For example, if a man strikes a freeborn woman so that she loses her unborn child, he will pay 10 shekels for her loss. If the woman dies, his daughter shall be put to death. At that time, it was perceived as normal that you can kill an innocent creature just because of a crime that her father has committed. On July 4th, 1776 AD, so exactly the opposite side of time relative to year 1, the Declaration of Independence was signed and adopted in Philadelphia by the Second Continental Congress. The Declaration of Independence is very well known by many people, especially the second sentence. The second sentence is probably one of the most quoted sentences in the world today. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Thomas Jefferson was one of the 5 people who drafted the Declaration of Independence, and while he was pleading for unalienable right to freedom and liberty, he owned 600 slaves. It was normal that freedom only applied to certain people at that time. In 1966, if you came to INSEAD to study in the MBA program at the time, you'll realize that there are no women in the classroom. Today, we're celebrating 50 years of the first 2 women graduating from INSEAD. But in 1966, it was normal to see only men in the room. The normal stands for the imagined reality that we have created and the world that we live in. We create these norms, we draw our borders, we create myths justifying why we're different from people across the border. But what is normal today will not be normal tomorrow. What is accepted today in terms of business behavior will not be acceptable tomorrow. We are at an inflection point where more and more companies and more business leaders think how to create value for the society while maximizing their profits. So our mission now is much broader when we think that all of you will be part of this mission, where in the process of value creation for your company, you create also value for the society. One thing that you should remember today is that it is not the end, it is the beginning of your link with the global INSEAD community. My goal over the next few years is to build a very strong community with the alumni in the school working together to take INSEAD to the next level. And I hope that you will be part of this crucial effort. Because INSEAD is not the project of the dean, it's not the project of the faculty, it's not the project of the board. It's a joint project of the entire community. We believe in the values of INSEAD. We believe that business can promote peace and prosperity and can have a long-lasting social impact. What is quite fascinating about INSEAD, and I did not graduate from INSEAD, as you can tell from this robe, but what I am fascinated by is how much people find INSEAD to be transformational in their lives. Many of our alumni will say, INSEAD is the best year of my life. INSEAD was a truly transformational year. INSEAD is for life. The first time I heard this was in 2013. I was appointed as dean on the 1st of October. On the 9th of October, I had the first reunion with the class of 1963. At the time, they were celebrating their 50th reunion. And I was sitting next to an Austrian alumnus, Günther Mauerhofer, and I asked him, why do you come to INSEAD? Today we have all these rankings, we have marketing, we have alumni, we do all kinds of tricks in order to attract people to come to INSEAD. He smiled and he said, I heard about this place in Fontainebleau where people from all over Europe are getting together to work together instead of fighting with each other, which we have been doing very successfully for centuries. And I just got into my car and I drove to Fontainebleau. And then he said it was the best year in my life. And I was thinking, this is weird, best year in your life. Probably, he's a bit nostalgic of his young years. Who knows what they were doing in the forest of Fontainebleau. But over and over again, you hear the same phrase. Whether I meet EMBA students, MBA students, other participants in our programs, they say the same thing. INSEAD transformed my life. I'm committed to ensuring that you'll be very proud and happy that you graduated from the school. And very proud to say, yes, I earned my EMBA at INSEAD. So here is my charge to the class of 2017. As your dean, and as you join this community, I must ask you at least of 3 things, maybe more. First, find your passion and stay out of your comfort zone. Use the skill set you gained at INSEAD to explore roles, regions, sectors, industries that you might not have considered a year ago. Seize the opportunities which you find most exciting. If you must take a safer route, then do so with rigor and zeal. Distinguish yourself and challenge yourself. Luck very often is associated with taking risk. As the great American philosopher Forrest Gump said, life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you'll get. So open that box and risk it. Stay out of your comfort zone and be inspired by challenges. In March 2016, AlphaGo, the computer program built by Google's DeepMind, managed to beat one of the world's masters in the game, the ancient Chinese game of Go, Lee Sedol, in 4 out of 5 games. It's actually a very interesting story because when you look at the game, there is a very famous move called Move 37 in the second game. Move 37, performed by the computer program, surprised everybody. It was 1 in 10,000 chance to play this move. But somehow, the artificial intelligence, the program, figured out that this is a winning move. Everybody was surprised. You have to see the face of Lee Sedol when he saw the move. And the computer won. In game 4, Lee Sedol was behind the game, the score. And then he played the historic move 78. In move 78, he surprised everybody, including the computer. Even though the computer was leading, after this move, computer lost the game. After this game, Lee Sedol mentioned that his move 78 was inspired by the untraditional move that AlphaGo performed in game 2, move 37. This is a very important story because when we're faced today with challenges that are coming from artificial intelligence, robots, and so on, it is not, as we call it, an exogenous development. We react to all these things. So challenge yourself and find inspiration in these challenges. Try to think, all of us have to try to think, how do we find our move 78? Second, if INSEAD is the business school for the world, I must ask each one of you to determine how you will make INSEAD your own. How will you specifically and uniquely, individually contribute to the mission of making business as a force for good in the world? We are a different business school. We're mission-driven with strong values. We want you to be different. We want you to be values-driven business leaders. And third, I'm asking each one of you to become an ambassador for INSEAD and for all that we represent in the world. It may not be easy at first, having enjoyed this atmosphere of inclusion and cultural diversity. It may be a great adjustment going out back to your workplace where things might be less tolerant and might be more biased. But all the values, all the learnings that you have learned here at INSEAD, please bring them to your place and make sure that with this you transform the world. Whenever you are interviewed by a magazine on the news, when you are on TV, please make sure that you mention that you proudly graduated from INSEAD. Support your school and your alumni. So going forward, let us continue to champion diversity because diversity is the key to strengthening individuals, institutions, and society. Let us promote peace and prosperity for every individual, community, and country in the world. We are proud that you earned your EMBA at INSEAD. We are proud that now you're becoming the ambassadors for INSEAD in this increasingly complex and challenging world. I have no doubt that the EMBA class of 2017 will change our world for the better and contribute much to the prominence of our alumni community in our school, which today you can call your own. You are INSEAD. You're not only alumni now, you're our partners in this magical journey called INSEAD. Congratulations, thank you, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Ilian. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our graduation speaker, Dr. Tony Fernandez. Dr. Fernandez is Group CEO of Air Asia since 2001 and credited with the turnaround of Air Asia into a publicly listed budget airline, helping more Malays than ever take to the skies. And as a pilot, that means a lot to me. For his contributions to opening the skies here in Asia, he has received many recognitions. Among the many are the title of Tan Sri and Dato Sri by the King of Malaysia. He has also been named Commander of the Légion d'Honneur of the French government and Commander of the Order of the British Empire. He has also been awarded the CEO of the Year in several years and several publications, named one of the most creative people in business, and in 2014 has also been recognized for building the Air Asia brand. Dr. Fernandez also founded the Tune Group and is a majority shareholder of the Queen's Park Rangers Football Club. Dr. Fernandez is a graduate of the London School of Economics, is a certified chartered accountant, and received a doctorate honoris causa from the UT Malaysia. Please help me welcome Dr. Tony Fernandez.